Alright, so the last 16 hours have been very interesting, to say the least, with this whole Landon situation. And so we're just going to try and sum it up within the next 30 minutes, maybe, who knows. So essentially this all starts with Maddie, Carter, whatever, Ferris saying, maybe we should get Tyler to get a face reveal. They're like, yeah, that's viable, but I don't think his camera works. It's like, oh, okay. So what about a voice reveal? You know, phone. They all have microphones. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, but it's been broken for the past 3 years. That makes sense. Oh no, very makes sense. And so then there starts to be this investigation that happens on that Tyler's an alt. You don't know who's alt, but it's a alt. Essentially, this turns out to be true. The problem was we had no clue who it was, but it was true. And so after that, we saw big smart Dom Lopez was like, hold on, Tyler never plays the Dragons, and every time he plays the Dragons, he either doesn't listen to Autumn or Hecker or whatever, or he plays on Deafen like he did in the championship game in season 10. We're like, wait, hold on, maybe Dom isn't like spewing nonsense for once, which would be like the first time in like ever. It'd be very impressive. And so, essentially, what happens is we all start investigating, like, wait, that's true. And then eventually just all comes crashing down. And so Landon's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I made an alt account, I thought it was smart, it's not smart, I'm sorry, y'all. They're like, okay, end of story, it's just Dolphin 2.0, gets suspended, removes his shit. And then, okay. Then, we start looking at what 49ers Life was saying. And a lot of people use it Landon. Innocent child. Everyone likes him. Very, very good person. No way he would say that much crazy stuff. Apparently, not only does he say the N-word about once a day in BLA chat, which is, I mean, that is, somehow, I don't know how. And not only is he also very religious, but also, he said, in Sim League, maybe 1-2 months after, okay, so maybe a few months after, Pounder's sister dies, it's like, ooh, I have to take a break, something just happened. You're like, oh, okay, what happened? Yeah, very, very normal, It's like, oh, my mom died of cancer. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, take some time off. Of course, this did not happen. Make no mistake, this did not happen. This did not exist. This mother was still alive. But no, Clout Chaser, Landon over here is like, you know what? I'm just gonna make fun. I'm just gonna say my mom died of cancer, just to get some salutary, get some, solitary wishes, just, get people thinking about, my greatness. Oh. Oh, okay. So, we look deeper into, these DMs, and we're like, wait! He's like said AJ's a shitty person more than once in in Shark's Team GC. We're like, wait, hold on. That's no go. That's bad. That bad stuff said. Bad stuff was said. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, normal. This happens. And we're like, wait, hold on. This gets worse. So then the championship game, because we had like a little bit of skepticism, the Ecuador trip, maybe it didn't happen. Who knows? Maybe the engagement photo wasn't AI. Maybe it was real. In the championship game, not only did Tyler and Landon not move at the same time, but also from help from Space Noob, who saw this. It's like, wait, hold on. Let's think about this for a second. Landon said he had a big head. He didn't have a big head. Tyler had a big head. He's like, wait, I thought I got the item. This is, I mean, granted, that has happened before. It makes sense why it was not that suspicious, because it has happened before where, like, people get items and then it just, like, disappears. You know? But then, you realize, wait, that was patched. I looked and, well, actually, we did not know this patch. I looked at this patch, like, 10 seconds ago, but... Okay, well, I'm just trash. Look at, oh my god. And so now it just keeps crashing down, you know. Keeps going worse. You realize that the engagement photo was AI, and essentially, and then the real kicker, probably, to, you know, Big Landon, was that, you know, AJ was like, wait, hold on, that little bitch, I'm just gonna end his snap streak. So right now, it's in the process of ending his snap streak, which is really funny, because, you know, dumbass. You know, choose get what they deserve. You know, actions have consequences. Okay, hold on. I'll leave. I'll leave. It's okay. Okay, I guess I will not leave. So you know, that happens. You know, we uncover more stuff about Landon. You know, and then we realize, and then PBA. This was maybe an hour ago. He's like, you know, I still want to be in PBA. You know. Maybe do the minimum work. I understand that was stupid. Hey, this whole apology thing. And so, yeah. So, you know, yeah, sure. Could it be, you know, by accidental? You know, absolutely, it could happen. You know, absolutely, it can definitely happen. You know, obviously, you know, you'd be thinking it's smart. Obviously, this is not the first person who's done this. However, we do realize that, you know, he kind of used this alter ego to kind of make fun of putting people down. Is more of what I'm trying to say. So that this is almost like, he's almost blackmailing people. He didn't want to say it was himself who said it, so he used his alt account to say it was. That's essentially what he used it for. Idiot. Ah! Essentially what he used his alt account for, which is kind of bad. And then the problem really emerged. And then Landon's like, you know, I don't know if people want to do trades with me, you know. Of course, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care if you're Jeffrey Epstein or fucking Mother Teresa. If you have something I want, I'm going to trade with you. And then other people are like, wait, no, he has to learn his lesson. He doesn't get to own a team. And then this somehow got put on Noah. I have no clue how, but it probably was deserved. I wasn't paying attention. I was eating French fries. Because, you know, I'm pretty cool. Motherfucker with this fireball. Piece of shit. So, more so, I think, was maybe a lesson learned, I hope. Obviously, the last person who did this beats, obviously, we're not gonna say funnier, because you're still not good, but he obviously didn't use it to, you know, do horrible things, or, you know, blackmail people, you know. But, you know, he definitely did bad stuff. But, you know, it was funny. We all laughed at it. We're like, okay, it was funny. It's okay. It's not funny. Problem is, this is just not funny. I mean, not only did, like, he fake his mom dying of cancer, not only did he fake that he got head, like, every other day, I think. I don't even know. It was way too much. It didn't make sense. That's all I know. Holy shit, I have a lot of gold. Not only, it just didn't make sense. But then, like, lastly, it was just kind of almost annoying at the end of the day. Or, like, you know. But then, yeah. I actually don't even know what I just said. I didn't say words. more of like maybe an understanding for Landon, I hope, but not really. But yeah, no, it gets worse. You know, the things that were stated, in these chats were more of just kind of not really the greatest of things. You know, maybe we're talking about. We were talking about like, maybe calling people tranny, like homophobic. That's definitely a reason to kind of want to kill someone. I would want to kill someone too if I was I came out, I was like, oh, I'm trans, guys, and they'd be like, fuck you, trans, your vagina implant or whatever, which honestly was kind of funny in the moment, and then we realized it was later, and then it's not that funny. But anyways. I just want to make sure that, like, obviously it doesn't happen. Again, like, it makes no sense. Obviously, BLA's landscape has been changed. There hasn't been a real ring since Season 2, which, maybe I was a part of, helping that. I don't know. I probably wasn't. I look like I donate to cancer compared to... I donate to fucking charity compared to what the other 3 cheaters did. So I didn't even cheat well, But it's okay. Hello there. Oh, okay, bitch. Bitch. Oh wait, I more of maybe like it just doesn't work, And so more almost on the topic is that, of course, some people wouldn't know. Season 8, 9, 10, Ballers lost 10 in a row. That's a lot of losing in a row. I mean, that would make me want to like eat someone. Maybe want to like eat. Okay, that was bad words, but you know what I mean. Like, it makes you just kind of want to like cringe and be like, really, that happened? But then really, after that whole fiasco happened, Tyler almost immediately was like, it's just Adolf. He's just Adolf Hitler. He's a terrible human. He smells like butt. He's just a horrible person. And like that's fair. You schedule a championship game when they're on death, and I mean it's fair. Fair, makes sense. Problem is that now with everything coming out, now it kind of like makes him look like a saint. But it's like a problem because kind of makes him be like, I'm glad I did that. Obviously, it's still terrible. You can't live with that. And then after he gets traded, he's just like, he's just the worst. He's just a horrible person. I think I already said this before, but I don't even know. I'm too focused on this Bed of Wars game to talk. And he gets almost attacks AJ. Even publicly, privately, both ways. He kind of says the same thing. He doesn't really care. Says he got engaged, which that we will talk about that after the whole really rest of it comes down, because this is not the only time this has been brought up. Uses as like, ooh, I'm old, I'm mature, I know what I'm doing. It's a 13-year-old. He obviously doesn't. He's not mature. He doesn't know what he's doing, and that's okay. We respect people for that. That's the great thing about this country, is that we don't really care. People can fake their identity and get away with it. It's okay. I've been faking my identity as Matthew Madigan for so long that it's just essentially just a whole other person. you know. But essentially, no, bro, dude, motherfucker, dude, fuck you, stupid Jew. But then it's just great things, you know, happening. So eventually, Tyler. So we're gonna see this. We're gonna go to the last time we got identity check, which was Sharks. I don't remember what team it was. It was like Sharks, maybe Rex, I think, maybe something like that. I don't know. And it was like, wait, hold on. Tyler doesn't have a mic, but he plays on his phone. This is not the iPhone 5. Surely, oh, cat's a goal. I'm scared. Mommy, I'm scared. You know, you just kind of, it's like, ooh, I'm not real. I'm a real person. You know, I sent a stock image on purpose. You know, because that makes sense. Who knows? You know, some people are weird sometimes. You know, happens. Fuck you doing shooting an arrow. Come here. Come at me, boy. Come at me, boy. Fucking golem. You moron! You are so dumb. Oh yeah, we're fucked. You know. Okay, so hold on. Okay. And so, you know, it's like, okay, I sent a stock image on purpose, you know? That makes sense. It makes lots of sense. But no, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, you know? It's the problem. It's just, why would you do that? You're an alt account. So he's like, you know what, I'll send my engagement photo, but I have to black out my girlfriend, you know, public privacy, you know, indigence of privacy, you know, it makes sense. Well, fiance, sorry, my fault, my bad. I'm shaming people, my bad. You know, and he's like, yeah, that's fine. Little did we know that would help because he would use AI. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence did not even exist when this account was created. But he used artificial intelligence to make it realistic, which is crazy. You know, it's frankly catastrophic. You know, that's okay. That's okay. And so you come in. And so you're like, yeah, okay, maybe he beat the old allegations. He's a real person. Not true, by the way. But we thought he was, at least. For like a little bit. So, you know, we come in. So, you know, we come in and, I don't remember right now. So then this comes up, like, again. For no reason. But anyways, we're gonna talk about, you know, what has happened. What did happen. We're gonna talk about the slop top time. And how actual degenerate it is. Slop top time. Slop top time was a thing. I'm not gonna say good things. So essentially, you'd be like, "Yo, getting head right now. I can't play Bobble League." And then you come back like 10 minutes later, like, you know, I got head. You know, it's okay. I'm back. I'm like, oh, okay, that was fast. It's like, no, it isn't, because we obviously don't know what we're doing, so it didn't matter. Obviously, it wasn't that. It obviously wasn't that fast, because we know we're pretty dumb. But you know, anyways. And so that would happen a lot. Almost become a thing. To where he's like, you know what, I want to propose. We've been together since 14. 6 years, you know, I want to propose. Of course, I think, you know, so you're 20, you know? And so I'm 20, you know? It makes sense. Oh, I don't have a fucking pickaxe, I'm an idiot. I can't even do anything with this. Why do you have an iron sword, bro? You weirdo! So, you know, it's not the only time. Like, you know, I want to propose. Now, of course, we're all dumb. You know, we're all really smart. We're like, wait, hold on. Who the fuck would propose at 20? Like, who the fuck is gonna get, you know, a job like that? Well, actually, they're not gonna have kids, but, like, obviously you need, like, you know, to be, like, a CEO of a company in this day and age to do that, but that's okay. You know, you can figure that out, you know? It's not that hard. It's like, okay, you know, maybe. Of course, he never said anything about a job, which was obviously, looking back on it, probably dumb. He probably should have been like, you know, what do you do for your job? You know, you obviously have money. Like, how did you get this money? Like, did you sell drugs? Because if you sold drugs, you know, maybe we could talk. But no, you didn't sell drugs. You just lied and said it's a real person. It's not a real person, obviously. And so, we almost come in, maybe it was like, I don't know, the morning. No, it was like, this was like the late at night. And he said he was going to propose on Valentine's Day. Now, that was a big red flag. Who the fuck does that? That's stupid. That's, like, generic. Like, nobody does that. Again, we should have figured this stuff out. But we didn't. We're stupid. We didn't figure this out. And we're just all bots. We all just got played. But it's okay. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay we got played. Because you know what? Getting played isn't the worst thing in the world. We got played, you know. And so, you know, it comes out, it'd be like, yeah, you know, stupid. We go PBI again. That's PBI. You know, this story's all over the place, but you know, it's okay. I'm just talking at this point. Go to PBA. Be like, you know, I just want to own a team, you know. Okay, you little dumbass. Oh. So, you know, okay. Okay. You know, we'll let you own a team, you know. And then he just makes his apology, like, you know, it's stupid, you know, I don't know why it was stupid. And like, yeah, it was stupid. Congrats, you figured it out. Okay, don't do it again. Of course, maybe someone did do it again. But who knows? So let's go back to BLA and how this affects the BLA legacy. So, there was proposals of a reset. Proposal of a reset, which was actually kind of funny. You know, we have the reset. Obviously, that did not happen. I'm still suspended. You know, it happens. You know, suspended for a good cause. Of course, that good cause obviously didn't work out. You know, people still are stupid. You know, people still got caught cheating. People still got suspended. Of course, because you know everyone is just super duper smart. You know, of course, cheating's not good. Cheating will not help you win. I actually have a 0% win rate cheating. If you look at the stat, like look at the numbers. So numbers, you know, I have more wins not cheating than I did cheating, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm just more like rambling now. Oh my god, you're so bad. You just missed. You are so horrible at this game. You should retire. Thank you. Okay, okay, thank you. Oh, I have no chance here. So okay, thank you. You know, it's okay. It's okay. And so you go into more of, I don't know, maybe a bad habits more. Obviously, obviously, I think the season's gonna get reset after week 1, which honestly that's fair. And I think NED is gonna be the Dragons' captain now, which is probably gonna happen. Oh, you think you're just gonna take those emeralds? You're a Jew. You're such a Jewish person. It's okay. I broke my keyboard. I'm an idiot. There we go. You know, it happens. I'm telling you, and it happens. And that's okay. Obviously, every ring is essentially tainted besides season 1 and 2. Happens, of course. You know, between Beats, Madigan, Tyler, Landon. You know, it's just essentially how it goes. I look like I fucking. I'm not even that bad of a person. I look like I did nothing wrong compared to all this, but that's okay because I'm okay with that. I'm okay with living life like that. Oh. So, you know, we go on to it's a great process. Into some great processes. Hi, buds. Holy shit. That's a lot of stuff. I just can't use any of this stuff. So, go into some, like, hybrid. Oh, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm lost. I'm focused too much on Bed Wars to talk. There's a lot of explosives. But I need a bridge egg. It would be smart. A bridge egg would be smart. We go into, obviously, you know, something I definitely am more sad about. Has to go into the deep depths of, well, I won't say, I think I've almost said everything I want to say. Maybe I want to say, like, one more thing at the end of this game. Who knows? Probably gonna be the last. The video ends when I die. But, definitely, I think it was just stupid, you know? Landon knew it immediately after he fully realized. He's like, you know, it was stupid. I don't know why I did it. And they're like, yeah, it was stupid. You shouldn't have done it. Rats. figured it out. But of course, that's not how life works. You know, you have to, so, you know, hopefully more happens coming to this. I don't know. You know, maybe I get unsuspended. Who knows? Probably not, but it would be cool. You know, to get some. Obviously, he's still in MLB The Show Custom League, which is cool because obviously he's fun to be around. He's not a terrible person like others would say, like Shane would say. Shane actually has no dumbass. But, you know, he's not all terrible. Obviously, did a bad thing. You know, it happens. Obviously, shouldn't have happened, but it happens. You have to live life. That's about it. So maybe the rest of this should be me playing Bed Wars. Who knows? I'm an idiot. But anyways, that's it. All right.